Welcome to the Rick Helps Real Estate Show. We're going to talk about the over 55 communities that we have down there in the Valley of the Sun, Sun City West, Sun Lakes. I'm going to concentrate mostly on Sun Lakes. All three of them operate relatively the same. It's a totally separate economy. This is the time of year when listings start to ramp up. Sales kind of lag behind. People come out from wherever, Canada, Michigan, um, Wisconsin, and they list their homes, or they didn't come out. They want to list their homes while the snowbirds are showing up. So listing activity does increase. So we're going to look and see where it's at in relationship to last year or the year before. Things getting better, getting worse. How challenging is it? And like I said, it's a totally different economy for these retirement communities. For example, right now we're looking at a listing count here on this page. It shows 156 for Sun Lakes. I look at another one, it shows 187. When I cross-reference that with the multiple listing service, I come up with 187. So, but you can see in relationship, last year they were showing us down here to 104. So we do have more listings showing up this November than we did last November. Why is that? Last November, nobody wanted to move. Nobody wanted to budge. We had an election coming. Everybody's, I'm waiting till after the election. Then the election comes. I'm waiting till January. I want to see what happens. Then the tariffs come. I'm waiting to see what these tariffs do. Now we just had a government shutdown. I'm waiting to see what happens. There's always a reason to wait. But comparing this November to last November, there's less waiting going on. People decided, well, I'm going to list. And they have. But it isn't historically really knocking things out of the park. When you look at months of supply, I'm going to explain this in a little more detail than I normally do. We're sitting here at 5.2. Last year, we're at 5.8. In other words, with the existing inventory, how many homes are being sold? How long would it be before we run out of homes? What happens, though, is it's almost kind of a lagging indicator. You have this many homes for sale, and then you look at how many homes have closed. Well, those contracts are written 30, 45 days ago. In a seasonal community like Sun City West, Sun City, and Sun Lakes, September, October, not that busy when it comes to closed sales. So the contracts were written back then. It's showing up closed now at a time when the inventory is piling on. So it's going to pump up the months of supply and make people think they're really in dire straits. The months of supply will start to decrease as we get into probably the latter week of January, because face it, December is going to be slow. And so the number of contracts that are out there are really going to not start hitting the books until more than likely February. And here's our monthly sales. And this is why I say this. You can see that we're at 30 here. Last year we were at 18. You can see at the beginning of the year how they tend to climb up. They start really showing up in March. That is the sales per month. Now, in March, if you're looking at a closing in March, I'm circling it with my handy dandy red pen then. That contract was accepted in February down here. So you're looking at this going, wow, houses are selling like crazy in March. No, that's when they closed. So February was when people were out shopping. That's when they put in an offer. That's when the offer was accepted. The one true number to look at is pending listings. That's what's going on right now. Right now, we're a little bit below last year. We see 15 pending. Last year, we had 16. These are week by week. So we have 15 homes that have a contract and it's pending, which means it's more than likely to close. There's pending and then there's under contract accepting backups. This one is just the pending number. It's normally larger than under contract accepting backups. So, but it is slightly below last year. It will climb, but not by much. This is, and I've got a red line there. This is our Cromford Market Index for Sun Lakes, and it's declining, folks. It declined last year, and it may come back up as we get into December. But it didn't in 2023, as you can see by that purple line right there. So this is a number to watch, and watch carefully if you're thinking of listing and thinking of pricing your home. Same with this here, Cromford Demand Index. This is for everybody right now. You can see that Listings have gone a little bit above normal, and the number of contracts have gone up slightly. Little bit of downward pricing pressure. Now, in pricing in your Sun Lakes, Sun City West neighborhoods, I've never seen more divergence in the style of houses than those neighborhoods. Some are just fixed up, remodeled, open concept, brand new kitchens, brand new appliances, new bathrooms, incredible backyards down the street from one that hasn't been touched since 1982. And so you really have to do your shopping when you're a seller. You have to turn your mindset into a buyer. How does my home compare to the homes in the area? And not just the one down the street or not the one that sold next door. And certainly, please, for the love of everything, not Zillow. Zillow doesn't know what you did to your kitchen or didn't do to your kitchen. They don't know what your neighbor did with their backyard. So you're going to have to really do a deep dive when it comes to pricing in today's market. Now, are these listings coming because the Canadians are selling? I don't know. I don't know how many Canadians are listing. Their dollar's getting plummeted. If they bought in 2012, they're making out like a bandit right now on the exchange rate. But they're also really upset at our president. So some of them are saying, I'm out. But I don't know if it's a big enough number to move the bar. I honestly don't know. I've talked to some agents that list exclusively with Canadians, and they're saying, well, for every Canadian I got listing a home, I got a Canadian that's buying. So although it is harder this year for them to buy, I believe their dollar right now is at 71 cents. So it's a little tough. If you're a Canadian out there, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you're listing, tell me what your incentive is for listing, why you're listing your home. And if you're buying, tell me where you're coming from. Most of our buyers come from the Midwest or from the Northwest and Canada. We aren't seeing a lot of seller contributions in Sun Lakes like we do in, I'll just say, Ocotillo, because there are so many cash transactions. Nobody's buying a rate down. The average seller contribution is running about $11,500 right now. Pretty high because they're helping buy down rates for other people that are financing. But Sun City and Sun City West and Sun Lakes, there's a lot of cash buyers out there. They could care less what the mortgage rates are. They're moving somewhere else. They got a lot of equity. Boom, they're paying cash. So you're going as a buyer and you want, you don't need seller concessions. They're going to help you with your closing costs. You should ask for that. Also, be very careful when you're looking in these markets. They all have what's called this capital improvement fee. It's almost $5,000. I don't like it. It's a fee that says, they have a transfer fee. The transfer fee is limited by law, but they didn't seem to limit the capital improvement fee. It's the money that comes in every time they sell a house that goes in a fund that helps them remodel their clubhouse or their golf course or whatever. And they ding you between $4,000 and $5,000 every time in a transaction. To me, that's kind of hefty, but people pay it. People like it. Well, I shouldn't say they like it. I know they don't like it, but it's just the pain of buying an over 55 community. Now, there's some other over 55 communities as well. I'm not focusing on them because they're not broken out separately in the Cromford Market Report, such as Trilogy and places out in the Southeast Valley. So when you're pricing, make sure you don't price at the market. Make sure you're pricing below it this year. There's a lot more listings that are going to come out in January. I guarantee it. There's going to be a lot more buyers too, but I don't think at the rate that we've seen in the past. I think it's going to be a little tepid. So if you're really serious about selling in these over 55 neighborhoods, do your homework. Make sure you're priced right. There will be some buyers here and you will sell your home. Now, if you want to report specifically for your over 55 area, I don't recommend getting one by zip code. For example, Sun Lakes 85048 is the same as Ocotillo, totally different markets. Get a report by city. I can put that together for you. It gives you every number that you want to look at. You can request it with that QR code. Actually, it's over here. Where's my finger? Right there. And or just the link down below and say, hey, I want to know what's going on in Sun City West. And I'll flood you with information. So other than that, if you have any questions, shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. Take care.